All right, everybody. That was Barcelona's last game with Xavi Hernandez as manager for now. And let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about how it went. We're going to talk a little bit about Xavi too, and what I think about everything moving forward. Getting into the match right away, I think it was clear that they were playing a little bit more attacking wise, or a little bit more reckless than they have recently. From the start, we saw Koundé really bombing up the side, and I think he has been held back a little bit. Probably tactically for most of the season. So we saw him moving up forward, and it was bringing a lot of energy, not just him, but with Fermin and Pedri both playing right alongside Lewandowski. It was creating a lot more of, not chaos, but just a lot more action up front. But as we saw later on, that kind of left a lot of risk going back. It left us very exposed, especially with Cancelo also moving up forward a lot. Left a lot for Inigo Martinez, Kubarsi, and Christensen to do. And I don't think they did wonderfully. I think they did okay. We conceded a lot of chances to Sevilla. I think we were lucky to win this game. It probably very easily could have been a draw. I think we should have created more chances, though, for how much risk we were leaving at the back. There are times where you can win like this, giving up a lot of chances, but I think you should score more than 2 goals if you are going to play like that. It's a little bit of a look into what might happen under Hansi Flick, because that's what Bayern did. They were very aggressive going forward. They were taking a lot of risks, opposed to the risk-averse nature of Xavi that we have seen a little bit recently. So it's interesting to see, because I don't think this team is set up perfectly to handle that totally risky play the way that Bayern Leverkusen has played this entire year. Bayer Leverkusen. And so it'll be interesting. But it was a little bit different today. Obviously, great goal from Fermin, a good assist from Cancelo, and good finish from Lewandowski on that first goal. But we're gonna go through each player by player, do the ratings as we always do before we take a look at everything moving forward, Xavi and everything else. Ter Stegen had a pretty good game today. I was kind of critical of him in my last video, but I think he was solid. I think he made a couple good saves when he was required, did everything he needed to do. He had a pretty good game. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I really have no questions from him. There was one time where he kind of fumbled the ball in front of him, but it didn't lead to anything. It wasn't really a problem. He had a good game today, and he deserves the credit for it. A lot of people are really critical of him for a good reason. Good, solid game. 8 out of 10. Cancelo, great assist. I think he left a lot of space behind him, and I think he was unlucky to get so many fouls called against him on Ocampos. Ocampos was diving like crazy. It is what it is. That's football. It was working, and whatever. I think he had a fine game, though. The good assist, 7 out of 10. From Cancelo, that's what we expect him to be very effective going forward, and he was today. It's a really good ball for Lewandowski, and I think if Lewandowski didn't get a touch on it, Firmino would have headed it in as well. So, very good job from him. I'd like to see more from him going forward. I don't think he's been the most consistent in that area of the pitch with his final balls this season. He's been great at times, but I think in the past month or so, we've been needing more from him. I could be wrong there, but he still didn't defend great, and so we need to be critical of him when he isn't fantastic going forward, because he's always not going to be fantastic defensively. Now moving to our center back pairing in Martinez and Kubarsi, I think they were okay when they were needed. I don't think they were fantastic. Kubarsi did a pretty good job of handling En-Nesyri a lot. I think he does a pretty good job of riding that line of fouling versus not fouling. He is pretty hands-on, and that can be dangerous at times. This ref was calling a lot of fouls, but I think he did a pretty solid job. 6.5 out of 10 for both of them. Inigo Martinez as well won the ball back a couple times and did okay in the circulation of the ball there, but I think it was fine. But Koundé, definitely not one of his best games. There were really a couple instances there that were questionable, plus he had that big miss in front of goal. He's a right back. We don't necessarily expect him to finish that, but he did miss a big chance. So I'm going to give him a 5, probably a 5 out of 10. It wasn't a good experience, game for Koundé, and we've become kind of used to him playing very well defensively, at least, and I don't think he was on his game today, probably because he was moving forward so much that we haven't seen, but it's just something that we can talk about and move forward. Everybody has an off game sometimes. It was probably one of Koundé's days. Moving to the midfield, Christensen was the furthest back in the beginning. I thought he did a solid job. I don't think he was great. He had one pretty good run through the midfield where he broke into space pretty well there. It was really good from him. 7 out of 10. I thought he was pretty solid. But he went off at halftime. Then Oriol Romeu filled the exact same position, and I think he was fine. I think he was pretty good today. I'm going to give him the same score, 7 out of 10. Yeah. They deserve the same score. I think they played pretty much the same. I don't think Romeo played poorly today. There were a couple times on the ball where I was nervous, but he just played it back to Ter Stegen, and we moved around and was fine. But I think Gundogan was solid as well. He played deeper. He was more of that, moving the ball around, distributing Frankie de Jong kind of role instead of playing up front or forward, as we've seen from him a lot this season. That's why his stats are so good. But I thought he was fine there. Did a good job linking up with Pedri at times, who was fantastic, but I'll get into him in a second. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Fine game going forward, leaves space defensively, and is not great defensively. I'm going to downgrade it to a 6 just because of that. I don't think that role is perfect for him, so I don't think it's all on him, but it's just the case that at least today in the position he played in, I think if he were better defensively, we wouldn't have conceded so many chances on the break, but he isn't great there. He can't run the same. He can't keep up. I think that's reasonable, the 6 out of 10 for him. But Pedri, I thought he was fantastic today. I thought his link-up play was really good, and I think he was really the heart of the attack at times. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Again, I thought he was really good. And a lot of people don't love him, but let me know what you guys think about Pedri, though. And then Fermin Lopez was spectacular. I think he did a very similar job to Pedri, but I saw him very calm in a few moments moving forward where he didn't necessarily force the ball, and he has done that in the past. So not doing that today was big and good on him. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10, especially for that. No, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 for that goal because that was a fantastic shot. Really good from him. Really, really good. I thought he was a lefty for so long. He's apparently a righty, but he's pretty ambidextrous. Whatever. You know how big of a fan I am from him. I don't have to keep talking about him. But Lamine Yamal, he was good. He had a solid game. I'm going to say he had a pretty good game, actually. He moved the ball up the field a lot. He didn't create a ton, I guess, but, because he didn't get an assist or anything. But he had a good game. And I think he had some support from Koundé linked up okay. He's never shown the most chemistry with Koundé, but he did pretty solidly, I'm going to say. So I think he probably deserves a 7.5 maybe. Maybe an 8, you could say as well. But I don't think it's that deep. Lewandowski, I don't think he had a good game. I know he scored a goal, but I think every time the ball comes to him on a break, the game slows down. I think he's too slow with making the passes in the final third or making a decision when it matters. So I'm going to give him a 7. He scored a goal. He deserves probably even more than that. But I'm always asking for more from him on counters, just breaking away, just accepting that energy and kind of forcing a pass. Maybe it's him not trusting his pass or something like that. I don't know. But I think it's okay to risk losing the ball to make a good pass to Lamine Yamal, to keep that momentum going and really take advantage of that break. I think he really slows the game down, and I don't like it. But he still had an okay game. Obviously, he scored a solid goal. It's a good finish with the weird, outside of his right foot. Yeah, 7.5. 7. I'm going to give him a 7. Romeo came on. I gave him a rating. Ferran Torres came on for Lewandowski. I thought he was fine. I'm going to give him a 6, though. I don't think it was great. I think the Sevilla defenders, Ramos especially, was very physical with them, and I don't think he did a great job. He had that one cross that was hit to the moon. Yeah, he was fine. Felix, same thing, too. I think he was in a lot of dangerous positions, but I think he kept the ball in a few instances where he was surprised, and so he wasn't necessarily ready to take a huge chance or take a rip. So I would like a little bit more from him there, but I don't think we're going to see any more from him, and I don't think we're going to see any more from Cancelo either. After him came on Roque came on in the 75th minute, who he didn't get a lot of service in the box, didn't have a lot of chance anywhere. He had a chance to take somebody on. He had the ball at the top of the box, out on the left wing a little bit, but he chose to pass it up to Pedri, and then it led to a lot of passing around in circles between Pedri, Gundogan, and Hector Fort from Roque. I'm not really too disappointed in him. He looked okay on the ball. He did fine. He ran as he always does. 6.5, I think, is reasonable just because nothing really happened. Him and Felix, Ferran Torres, probably all deserve the same score, but I think Ferran Torres and Felix both had better opportunities to contribute, and they didn't take advantage of them, so I would be more critical of them than I would of Roque because he didn't get those opportunities. Now, is that his fault? You could probably argue that. Hector Fort came on, and he barely did anything. He came on in the 84th minute, was on for 6 minutes plus added time. He did fine. I don't even remember anything to say for him. That was Xavi's last game as the Barcelona manager for now. And it went about as chaotic as we've seen for the last couple weeks. We gave up a lot of chances at the back. We looked decent going forward. I think we weren't clinical at a lot of times, but there's a lot to work with here. There's a lot of talent everywhere, and I'm excited to what's going to happen. I think the squad's going to look different next season, but there is still a lot to be hopeful for. And like I think I was saying this a little bit in the live stream, and Hansi Flick is an interesting manager, and it creates some interest and some excitement into this team that desperately needs it. I think if Xavi came in, he would be scapegoated very quickly anytime anything went slightly wrong. But with Hansi Flick, I think they'll have a little bit more patience. Not a lot by any means, but more than they would with Xavi, because Xavi would be in his third full year. So I think with some more leniency, Hansi Flick might be able to create some excitement here, and we're going to make some interesting signings to hopefully play the way Flick wants. And I think Hansi Flick will make some changes. I'm planning on making my next video about Flick. I'm still not sure how I'm going to create it or what I'm going to say, but today's the day about Xavi. This was his last game. I think for me, supporting him after scoring that goal was huge. Just showing some love to him. And there was a couple people in the stands too with like "I love Xavi" or "Gracias Xavi" on their shirts, and that was big. So, Visca Barcelona, Visca Xavi. Thank you, Xavi, for everything, and we should be happy with what he did. We didn't do anything this year, and that's upsetting, but he helped bring us to a point where we have a foundation of decent form and excitement and understanding of a football ability that I don't think we had before Xavi came. So, we won today, and I think we'll win going forward. So it's going to be interesting summer. A lot is going to happen. I'm going to create a lot of videos about it. So make sure you're around for it, and you follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be live streaming a little bit more, just casual gaming sessions on there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.